Salut chers téléspectateurs, c'est tout.
Hello everyone, thanks for keeping it locked on this channel. It's my pleasure to have you here once again on Football Planet. This is Monday. Next are our headlines.
Tout de suite, les titres. L'incertitude plane plus que jamais.
Uncertainty still lingers in the forthcoming 2021 CAF. The cancellation of FIFA dates in September further complicates the situation to the CAF. The Continental Football Body is to hold a meeting this Tuesday to evoke the resumption of competitions on the continent.
Compétition sur le continent. Sadio Mane,
Mohamed Salah and other African teammates from Liverpool are celebrated in England. Thanks in particular to their sparkling African skills, the Reds won the 19th championship title, which they have been waiting for 30 years. This happened as the Premier League season resumed. Finally, the representatives of Africa at the next Women's World Cup will have to prepare for a long trip. The tournament will be played in Australia and New Zealand, a 9th edition full of hope for FIFA, which aims to give more priority to women's football. This is all for the headlines. Next are the main stories.
Bienvenue dans cette émission.
Welcome to this show. Is the future of CAN 2021 already sealed? For many, it will take an unlikely turn of event to see the tournament held next January. One thing is now certain is that the situation becomes more complicated after the cancellation by FIFA on the international games in September. Otherwise, there will be no playoffs due to the COVID-19 pandemics. This cancellation has brought divided opinions among football enthusiasts. More details with Chancellor Guinue Limbi and Michael Dibi.
Chancellor Nyingi et Michael Dibi.
The fate of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers is not known. Football competitions scheduled for September will not be played as earlier planned. This follows FIFA's decision to postpone all the meetings in this window to a later date because of the coronavirus pandemic. But the World Football Governing Body says the matches could, however, be played in October and November. However, it has given the Confederation of African Football a margin to benefit from 7 additional days to organize 4 days of qualifiers instead of the 2. This decision to postpone the September date may have an impact on the organization of the next Men's Africa Cup of Nations to take place in Cameroon, January 2021. The international breaks of March and June having been cancelled, the qualifications of many competitions have already fallen far behind.
These delays will actually make the situation even more complex, but CAF is still clinging to its initial program in organizing the CAF competition next January. Case to follow. Let us always stay with the Continental Authority, which is preparing the ground for recovery. CAF unveiled a document to support its members in the uncertain period. Saj Kofi and Hawau Suleimana tell us more on this.
The Confederation of African Football CAF has released guidelines for restart of competitions across the African continent. The Confederation held a series of meetings regarding future operations following developments in the spread and control of COVID-19 across the continent and the rest of the world. A 29-page document titled CAF Guidelines to Resume Football in Africa emphasizes on the health of key stakeholders, including players, officials, supporters and partners. A crucial factor in the reintroduction of football activities on the continent. The plan also emphasizes effective and continuous medical assessment through systemic testing of players and officials, guidelines for training sessions, disinfection of sports facilities, and strict adherence to global preventive measures. An action plan is expected after the Executive Committee meeting scheduled for 30th of June.
We
will actually get more update on this week after the end of this long-awaited meeting of the CAF Executive Committee. And then the coronavirus pandemic only makes people unhappy. But this is not the racing club of Abidjan. The club has just been crowned the champions of Côte d'Ivoire after the final session of the season by the Ivorian Football Federation. The first for this club, promoted only 3 seasons ago. In Egypt, after issuing several threats, Zamalek have finally taken action. The frustration of some clubs with the decision to resume the championship takes a dramatic turn. The Cairo-based club has announced that it will not be resuming the season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Looking at the league table, the title seems already promising to its old rival Al Ahly, who with one game will have 14 points lead over the two following teams, Al Mokhaloun and Pyramids Football Club.
On prend à présent la direction de l'Europe avec...
We are now heading for Europe with this distinction first for the Nigerian international Victor Osimhen. The Lille striker won this Monday the Marc Vivian Foy Prize for the best African player in French Ligue 1. The reward for a great season for the 21-year-old Super Eagle, who scored 13 goals. He succeeds the Ivorian Nicolas Pepe.
Nicolas Pepe et devient le joueur le plus jeune à remporter ce trophée. Parlons maintenant de cette belle histoire aux allures de...
Now let's talk about this fairy tale story, the coronation of Liverpool, helped throughout the season by two great Africans, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. The Reds finally became the winners of this 19th title, awaited for 30 years, the culmination of two exceptional seasons. And one thing is certain, Jurgen Klopp and his team are not done.
Ne sont pas encore rassasiés.
The consistency the boys really showed is so exceptional. I cannot describe it, and we will not stop. That's it. We will not stop. We really have to and will stay focused because we see the opportunity. But will not stop doesn't mean that we will win everything. We just want to improve. We have a lot of really good players, world-class players actually. But other clubs have world-class players as well. The consistency comes from the mix with determination, with buying in the idea, with attitude, with character, personality. That makes the difference, and that makes what makes this group so special. They're all very confident. Meanwhile, of course, because we won some stuff, but they are still humble. And I think as long as we stay humble, we have a good chance to be successful in the future as well.
Liverpool will therefore feel strong for the next season's conquest. Let's not forget the Guinean Naby Keita and Cameroonian Joel Matip, who are also among the champions. In Spain, Real Madrid is increasing its lead at the top of La Liga. Zinedine Zidane's team defeated the Espanyol on Sunday over 1-0. The Real are now 2 points ahead of FC Barcelona, who are forced into a 2-2 draw on Saturday by Celta Vigo, despite a brace from Luis Suarez. But nothing is yet decided.
No, para nada, porque al final...
No, not at all. We know that this is going to be decided until the end. And as always, because this league, we know it's a very complicated league, and it's always disputed until the end. And always, I believe that the La Liga that we won in 2017 with me as a manager, we won it in the last game of the season. So this is something similar is going to happen this season. We've played 5 games, got 5 wins, and that motivates us. But nothing changes. We still have 6 finals to play, and now what we have to do is rest up well, and the next game's coming quickly.
Now let's talk about women's football, more specifically the next World Cup. Australia and New Zealand were issued tickets to host the World Cup. For the first time, 32 nations will compete instead of 24. The matches will be played in 7 Australian cities and 5 New Zealand cities. And FIFA and its president Gianni Infantino want to ride the wave of this success in 2019 World Cup in France to highlight the practice of this sport even more among women.
We had an extremely successful World Cup last year in France, which is also the reason why we waited until the end of that World Cup to, of course, go ahead with the bidding process for the next World Cup, because we were sure that France would set new benchmarks in women's football. We have seen with this Women's World Cup that it's not just a Women's World Cup, it's a World Cup. We need to realize that. Women are 50% of the world population. Women's football is today a very, very attractive sport. it is football. Many people who tuned in for the first time during the Women's World Cup in France last year, they realized that actually, well, what is played, what is presented on the pitch is football, with skilled football players. We have ambitious targets in terms of not only doubling the number of women and girls playing football, but we want to make it really part of society. We want women's football to be part of society.
That was Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. And if you didn't know, this is the first time that Women's World Cup has been organized by two countries from two different confederations. This 19th edition will be played between July and August 2023.
It's been, a work in progress for over 4 years. And for us, it's been heavily involved for the past year. So, just a couple of days ago, we were posting, 1 day to go, and then now we're posting that we have a home World Cup, which is incredible. Well, the girls are going crazy. WhatsApp's going off. So it's amazing for our group.
To be honest, no, I had no idea, and I think that's what made it so scary. It was just that the fact that everyone in that room had worked so tirelessly for 3 years on that bid, and looking around, I was like, I can't handle this if, it goes the other way. I don't want to look these people in the eye, but, being able to, scream and shout and hug them at the end for a winning bid, it was just the best feeling in the world.
So here we are at the end of this broadcast. You can find more updates on our website, www.africanews.com. Thank you for staying with our program in our channel. Football Planet returns next week. Have a great week. Goodbye.
Ciao.